There's something there. Maybe people forget after the second or the third, but the fourth is like, it really tells you need to stop what you're doing.
That might be true.
Right? It's just like the extra mile.
It's just like it's a little extra. All right. The brand pull blueprint. So this is the section from the work, kind of for those in business leadership or business generally. This is the work. So the brand pull blueprint is flipping to a direct-to-consumer model. It's kind of the idea of, and I'll let you explain through it, obviously, but the idea of pushing versus pulling, obviously, is the whole premise of a brand pull. And then really the difference between kind of what we just talked about, haste versus, quick and things. So, the time required around building a brand. So, and then obviously the long-term payoff. So if you want to kind of walk through how you came up with the brand pull blueprint, even, how you've seen it work, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's relatively simple. If you sell a product through distribution, there's usually a choke on your margins. So it's just a place for opportunity. And also it's a concentration risk as far as being a defensible brand for your product, not having a middleman, essentially, that you rely upon to bring the sales in. So, at a company that we were at, it was the primary model was selling to distribution. So, you'd sell it 45% off.
Yeah. And that whole industry too is primarily distribution, right? So the whole industry already is like, no, this is how it's done here.
That's right. Yeah. So you
already got to be a bit louder if you don't want to do that.
You go to Joe Distributor. They're the biggest in the world. They've got places, trucks everywhere. They've got buildings everywhere. And your job is to get into their building so that they can then sell your product and distribute it to all of the retailers that they sell to.
Yeah.
And that was a constant push. And so I like to test and learn. So, first thing I wanted to do was like go to the call centers and buildings that they were doing this from to train that staff to see if we could move that push, to see how the model worked, to see how excited people were about the product. And, what I sensed and what I saw was, somebody who had a book of 1,000 products and ours was one. I'm like, man, there's no way I could wake up excited if I were in this call center, because I worked in a call center. If I were in this call center selling this product, it would just be whatever the best incentive I had was for that week. That's what I would focus on.
Yep.
I have no loyalty. And so we kind of just decided to, I said, we're just going to flip this whole thing and go pull. So again, rather than pushing through, going to win a distributor, then pushing through the distributor who sells it to the retailer, who then sells it to the client, we were going to go the other way. We're going to go all the way to the person actually using the product.
Yep.
Get them excited about that. Get them to walk into the building and ask for the product at the retailer. Get the retailer to call the distributor to say, do you carry their product? And then the distributor to call me and say, we'd like to carry your product because demand is happening.
Yep.
And so doing that is a huge shift for, especially if you've been doing it a long, long time.
You're upsetting not just your company, the way your company's been doing it, but actually kind of upsetting the industry a little bit because they're not expecting that.
Yep, 100%.
They don't like that.
No, they don't like it at all. And we had people, big distributors, upset with us that we were going to be competing with them because we started selling the product direct consumer through our website, and we were running big, deep discounts. And they're like, "Hey, hold on, you're competing with us." It's like, no, we're not competing with you. As we sell more, we will generate more awareness of the brand, which will make more people call you, which will make you distribute more, we'll sell more products.
No question.
But that's a long game.
Yeah. And getting people to buy into that long-term vision is very hard because they don't want the long-term vision. They go, no, I want to sell right now today.
Yes. And what's going to happen to my business for the next 3 months while you're doing this, right? But I was pretty clear that because you don't have to be some brilliant business person to understand that it's the people buying the product that you need to build the brand with.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it creates, if that distributor decides tomorrow, if they decided the next day they wanted to carry a competitor product of ours, overnight you lose all that business.
And this isn't a hard concept to understand, right? Anyone could understand it if you think about a bigger brand. The Nikes and the Apples and the Yetis and the Canon and you name any big brand that everyone's aware of. no distributor cares at all how those companies sell to other distributors or direct on their website. Why? Because they already all know that the people want that product. So if you carry that product, you're going to sell it.
Correct.
Right. So if you're an outdoor store and you start carrying Yeti, you don't feel like you're competing against online Yeti.
Yes.
You're going to sell it.
Yes.
Because people are going to come in there, they're going to buy a cooler or a mug. I know that you've moved on and you're on April now. But even, right, and same with Apple, if you start carrying Apple products, or it doesn't matter what you carry. If you open a shoe store and you're carrying Nike and Adidas, they're going to sell. You don't have to worry about it. And so it's easy to understand with bigger brands because it's always there. So it's just applying the same thing, obviously, but taking that early risk. So, it feels scary at first to go, but I do know that this distributor will place a large order. So do I want to, do I want to disrupt that? Do I want to upset that?
Yeah.
Potentially even lose that big distributor, for a long period of time, where I have to then do the work on my side of building the brand, creating the team, having everything in place, being able to deliver and ship and all the things. But thinking obviously 3 years and 5 years instead of thinking 3 weeks and 5 weeks.
Yeah. And it's about knowing your numbers too, right? So it's about understanding that, doing $1 million in sales through a distributor is not going to net you anywhere near what doing $1 million, right? If you do like 1.5 million in consumer, 1.7 million in consumer is the same thing as doing $1 million with a distributor. So understanding and knowing your numbers is a really important aspect of being able to do this the right way. But we went from nothing to multiple 7-figure direct to consumer sales, and the distributors who understood and stayed with the vision went up 2 and 3 times over that 3 or 4 year period because they were the beneficiaries of all of the brand pull.
Guess what? Now there's an actual brand that people want to buy and be part of, and they go, actually, they sold out online, so I'm going to go to the distributor. Or they do have it. So,
or hey, I'm going to go to them because they can get it to my house tomorrow.
Correct. Or they can install it, or any number of reasons that they can actually compete differently than the manufacturer. Yeah. So there's actually a lot to it. Yeah.
So I think the idea, and I put some of the details, but just giving an idea. Selling on your own website to the consumer at 15% off. If you did 5 million in sales, would get you 4.25 million in gross, versus you'd have to do 7.73 in distributor sales at 45% off,
which is what
54% more volume to achieve anything. So the idea is the playbook kind of shows you the basic steps around how that was done. So there's a lot of complexity, but there's also a lot of simplicity, and that is. Pulling from a brand perspective means being committed to telling your story as a brand every day with the idea that you are building long-term awareness of your product that will drive sales. This isn't advertising, it's branding. It's not an advertising blueprint, it's a brand pull blueprint, meaning, you can't say, what's the ROI on this campaign? But that's not the idea here. The idea here is that for the next year, 2 years, you're going to post on social media, tell your story every day. And over time, that will build the awareness of your product, which will drive sales.
It's the steam train. It's extremely difficult to get it going. But once it's moving at a high rate of speed, it's extremely difficult to slow it down.
Yeah, and for a lot of businesses that have been around a long time, like the one we were in, it's like making a U-turn in a cruise ship.
Yeah.
But once you turn it around, you can just go. You can really just go.
Open seas.
Like Novocaine, just give it time.
And people can download obviously what you put together here, the brand pull blueprint. If they're part of the King's business, they've signed up, they can go to this post and they can download that blueprint and really simply just kind of follow the step-by-step guide around what it, just some beginnings of what it would look like.
Yeah, some true practical execution around
some practical execution.
What to do. Yeah.
Exactly right. Okay. Oh, we're almost at beep.
Ready? Are we almost at beep? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's pretty good. We've kind of got this 10-minute thing down.
Like that.
3, 4.